Hello and welcome to 5-Minute Math. Today we are looking at the 8th grade concept of financial responsibility, specifically situations in which we can be either responsible or irresponsible with our money, and we will do it in 5 minutes or less. So there are big categories that I want to look at in this video as to how we can either be responsible or irresponsible. In 8th grade, we might start working some after-school jobs or maybe some things on the weekend or over the summer. So we need to start working on what are we going to do with our money. And this first thing that I want to consider would be, what does our planning look like? So whether we're just looking at our after-school job or whether we're really thinking of the future. So if you are responsible, one of the things that you need to do is you need to spend a little bit of time to make your budget, right? So a budget is basically a plan to where you are listing on basically two sides. You're listing your income, and it's probably going to be just one thing, right? Your weekly paycheck. But then you're planning out your expenses. So you're planning for it either by week or by month, by every 2 weeks. Depends on how often you get paid. And you make a plan. And you say, well, I'm going to be making $200 every 2 weeks. So I'm going to spend this amount of money on food, this amount of money on clothes, this amount of money on various things. And you plan out your budget and you do your best to stick to your budget. Right? These aren't hard rules, but you're going to make a plan and kind of stick with it. So if you're irresponsible, you've just got no plan. You just end up spending. And so if you have money, you spend it. And if you don't have money, you don't spend it. And that doesn't work well for the long term, because this next section that we're going to be looking at here has a part of this planning, but it flows right into it. And so this is your future. And so just because you've got money now doesn't mean that you will have money in the future. So you need to have some type of savings. And so part of this budget right here is going to be savings. Or sometimes you might call it an emergency fund, rainy day fund. These can be two different things, right? Savings can be really, really long term. It can be like a mutual fund. It can be like a stock market. So that can be something that happens for like college or retirement. But that's usually pretty far away for 8th graders if you're not working a full-time job. So emergency funds are probably going to be what your saving is going to be. And that happens, what if your car breaks down? Or what if you need a new laptop? What if there's something you need, it's not in your budget, and it's just a big expense? What you don't want to do is have to put that straight on a credit card. So you're going to build an emergency fund, so when there is an unexpected, you have to plan for the unexpected. That's the crazy thing about budgeting. You have that available. Once again, irresponsible is when there is no plan and everything goes on credit cards if you have that emergency fund. So we're going to be planning. We're going to be planning specifically for the future. And this last section that I really want us to look at is what happens if you get a raise. Well, that would be nice, right? You get an extra, 20 cents an hour. You get an extra $200 a week. What do you do when you get a raise? Well, if you're irresponsible, right, we'll start over here. You just spend more. So if you get an extra $50 every 2 weeks, well, cool, I just get to buy more stuff. What would be more responsible would really be to go back to this budget and evaluate it, right? So evaluate your budget and look to see, do I need to spend a little bit more in my emergency fund, or do I need to start one? Is there another long-term expense I really want to pay for? Or maybe I would like to just split it up between some of my other expenses. But you make a plan for the raise and you put it into your budget. You don't just start spending more, because then you're going to one day need something and you wouldn't have put it into an emergency fund or wouldn't have budgeted for it. And these are different ways to be financially responsible.